Well, good morning on June the 23rd, and this is a daily devotion, and we're carrying on with Christian living, and we're on day 4, and the subject of Christian living today is humility, and it comes from a passage in Philippians, um, and it as our key scripture, chapter 2, verse 3, where it says, "Do nothing in selfish ambition or vain conceit, but rather in humility value others above yourself." Now, this is one I think most of us are going to find hard in the Western world because we live in a world that is continuously saying that you can get better, you can do this, you can do that, you can have anything you want. And, that's a world that I used to live in when I used to work in the retail trade. It was all about bettering yourself and getting to the job role you want, the salary, and all the time just keep thriving forward and forward and forward. But as I got older in my career, I remember thinking, is this still all there is? And yet, developing others is such a rewarding time. And God has given us the opportunity to sow seeds and to treasure those that are around us. In other words, to look for what's in them that God is putting in them, so that you can see the treasures of their life being brought to life. And as a coach, I find this really encouraging when you come alongside someone and you help them to discover what it is that God is doing in their lives. Now, I'm not going to say it's easy, because there are times it gets frustrating. There are times when it's like boulders in the way, because sometimes when you're going for things that God has put in others' lives and you're trying to explain that to them and you're helping them and mentoring them and bringing them along, they can't quite see it. They don't see it because, and this is the wonderful treasure. God comes alongside you when you start to serve in humility. He comes alongside you, and he gives you the opportunity and the keys to unlock treasures. And these treasures are people's lives living in accordance to God's will and word. So when they do discover this and they do start to move in what God has given them to do, you suddenly see a treasure that you've never seen before. And you know what? It's a blessing to yourself as well as it is to them, because when you see someone thriving and going for it, it just picks you up and makes you feel that God is doing something in your life. These are the treasures that we should never miss. People are so important because, as I like to look at it as, God has created that person, and that person is a really important person, very, very vital to who he is, because he loves them so much. And when we do things in humility, we should have those eyes focused on this is God's creation. God has created this person, and he is inside of that person are these massive treasures. So this morning, if you're thinking, wow, what's happening around me? Well, what's happening in other people's lives? Then I would say, take time to maybe even invite them for a cup of coffee and say, what's happening with your life today? And have that attitude of humility towards them, because I do believe that today you are going to see treasures open up in front of you like you've never seen them before. Because once we start to discover the treasure that God has placed in them, then we see a much better treasure in our own lives, and we have our eyes focused on what we can serve and give more than what we can take and use. So that's my daily thought for the day. I really enjoyed doing this series, and we've got another couple to come yet. But until next time, I'll see you then.